I can't say that I grew up sort of with a deep understanding of the culture, and I would probably even say that, you know, I'm still learning more and more about my Mexican-American Chicana culture. I mean, in a weird way, I knew the smarts came from sort of my Mexican-American background and everything like that. I was a young mother. I was a mom at 19 years old. My father was, you know, he had, in a sense, quote unquote, brought me up better, you know, and so this was sort of a blow to him. I ended up going to community college for a couple of years. UC Irvine was the closest college. This was something that I wanted. And so, I mean, you know, even, you know, I would take the bus, I would make the classes work around, you know, being a mom and working some and things like that. Really having respect for a lot of our students here, our first generation students here, is, I mean, I have that connection there, that sort of knowing what it's like to really want your education. I think as I grew older, I sort of understood what it meant to be a Chicana, what it meant to be a feminist. You know, the idea that there are all of these wonderful strengths in our community. You know, my dad, his feeling was he would be happy, you know, back when, if I got my degree from a community college and got married. So that was sort of like, you know, that would be fine. But I definitely wanted more. To be a Chicana feminist means, to me, to sort of learn and understand about my personal background, both the positives and the negatives, but also to learn about the pioneers, those women who laid foundations and who, I mean, you know, made a difference in the world. You know, all of us can help mentor, you know, younger people who are here at Cal Poly. We even mentor, I wouldn't even say, you know, across, you know, even within the same age span. It's not always to younger people, it's also your colleagues.
As I started going to my friends' homes and seeing the differences, I realized that I was experiencing was very different, and I felt that was also because of my place within like the social hierarchy, where there are a lot less options for Latinos, especially when you're in poverty, because of our marginalized status. So it's very difficult for us to ever get rehab, to ever get that kind of extra help. But even on this campus, like, it's a very white campus, and for that reason, I think a lot of them kind of underestimate our abilities here too, because they kind of see us as the children of the farm workers, the children of the labor-intensive workers. And I mean, I had a lot of friends here that are black and brown that are working multiple jobs to make it by. I'm also working too. I also had this background of cleaning homes. So when I walk around here, I remember the kinds of kids that I would clean homes for. Because of how I identify, I'm gonna probably have a harder time getting access to things that I'd like. I mean, I probably also, when it comes to jobs, it's gonna be kind of weird to be one of the few brown people in the whole entire room, and to have probably the bathroom be located way far away from my office, or little things like that. We are the descendants of warriors. We are the descendants of very strong people, and we did not disappear like our textbooks told us, and we're not meant for labor-intensive work like our textbooks told us. We're meant for something more, and we're meant to make our own destiny.
Que mi vida es un milagro. My life is a miracle. And I tell students, when you're born with nothing, you have everything. I tell audiences that, because I feel I was given everything because I was born with nothing. And I think I learned about being about social justice and a humanitarian given the poverty, the exclusion, and the direct racism. And it took a long time before because I married, I had children, and I started working. I mean, I worked as a motel maid after I graduated from high school. Had all kinds of jobs to take my Chicana perspective and my perspective about social justice and put it in a global context. So I became more politicized and I started participating in the local Crusade for Justice, and we had protests, we had marches, we were protesting about discrimination in the schools, almost about everything. But, in those times you kind of had to.
I want to be somebody right.
You should never forget where you came from, that an institution never created us. We were somebody before we came to the institution. Like Shakespeare said, to thine own self be true. You have to make sure that you separate the institution from you and your soul, because it's so easy for people to get carried away by the title or the power. And you have to know that this empowerment is for humanitarian reasons. Know where you're going. Set goals. Dream big, les digo. Have many dreams, because sometimes all dreams don't come true. And that's why I mention educate, because education is knowledge and knowledge is power.